and we hope it is.
Can I follow on?
Yes, Ann.
Thank you. When is the president going to put out his budget that traditionally comes out in February? Was the delay caused at all by the sequester, or is the CR a factor in the budget that he will produce? And why not do tax reform as one larger package later this year? If so, when would that be?
Okay, let me address the portions of the question. As I've said in the past, administration officials are working on the president's budget, and we will, provide it. I don't have a specific date for you. There is no question that the series of crises, largely manufactured, that we in Congress have been having to deal with over the past several months have had an impact on that process. But the fact is, we're working on it, and we will submit a budget. And we note that the Senate will be submitting a budget as well as the House. And I think the President believes that there is some reason to hope that we can take that simple fact and pursue what a lot of people refer to as regular order, which is to use that budget process to try to resolve some of these issues, and maybe that's an avenue to do it. There's an interest, I think, on both sides to return to regular order as opposed to a situation where we're dealing with these unique and arbitrary deadlines and cliffs and crises and things. But the broader issue is, how do we go about the job of reducing our deficit further, achieving another $1.5 to $1.8 trillion in deficit reduction that would bring us to $4 trillion or more over 10 years in a balanced way. Thus far, the President signed into law $2.5 trillion in deficit reduction. That has come largely in spending cuts. That's an important fact to note. The Republican leaders in the House in particular, but also in the Senate, like to say that the President got his revenue increases on January 1st, but the fact of the matter is that even with the raising of the income tax rate for the wealthiest Americans back to the level under Clinton, the income achieved from that, the revenue achieved from that, is something like $620 billion, I think, and that is still remains just a relatively small portion of the overall achievement in deficit reduction thus far. It does represent balance. We need to continue with the balance, and the President's proposal, his offer to Speaker Boehner, continues that. It includes entitlement reform savings as well as savings from tax reform. And the tax reform, again, as I said, is something that Republicans say they're for. All we're asking when we say let's get tax reform and entitlement reform done together in this effort is for the Republicans to adopt the position that Speaker Boehner had 2 months ago.